Shiny Zygarde vs Shiny Rayquaza, the Rising Voltaclers return, and Area Zero confirmed? The new Pokemon Horizons anime opening was insane and filled with tons of Easter eggs and references and foreshadowing. It's titled Only One Story and has big implications for the upcoming events of the Pokemon anime. Be sure to leave your thoughts and speculation down in the comments and leave a like if you enjoy. With that said, let's uncover the hidden details you might have missed. Let's get started. The opening begins with the clouds rolling by and Rayquaza flying overhead. Liko, Dot, and Roy look up at the majestic dragon with positive looks on their face as their starter Pokemon stand beside them. This now marks the first time where all of their partner Pokemon are at the same evolution stage since opening 2. Floragato was the first to evolve in a battle against Shiny Rayquaza in episode 45, then Quaxwell and Dot's battle against Larry in episode 59, and then finally Crocolore and Roy's battle against Liko in episode 67. They then run after Rayquaza as the dragon is tied to all their goals in some way as they look out over a cliff. Then we get the Pokemon Horizons logo with Rayquaza flying overhead. If you look closely, you'll actually see that the logo and even the subtitle have crystal terrestrial patterns over the text and the black title box, this being a reference to terrestrialization being the brand new battle mechanic that was introduced in Scarlet and Violet. Also, the name of this arc is Rayquaza Rising, as we will soon begin to learn more about Recurium, Area Zero, Terrapagos, and Rayquaza and the 6 Heroes. Fittingly enough, the opening begins with Rayquaza literally rising into the sky. We then transition to Dot sitting at her computer, most likely editing a video or doing research, but then we see this overlaid insert of her presumably dealing with self-doubt, much like Liko and Roy have. Of course, we've known Dot to be a shy and reserved and isolated character at the beginning of the series, and even though she's broken out of that shell a lot, she's still dealing with that part of herself. Then we have a shot of Roy holding his hand up to Shiny Rayquaza as it flies high into the sky, and his overlaid insert also shows him dealing with self-doubt. I should note that Roy's goal since the start of the series was to be strong enough to have a battle against Rayquaza and defeat it and potentially capture it as well. He's constantly been questioning his skills as a trainer and if he'll be strong enough to battle it one day. And it's at this moment I'd like to shout out my friend Kurablitz because he tweeted on Twitter that the lyrics that accompany this shot say "Moyo wo mashi wo kokoro-ja," which translates to "but I'm still just a coward." Specifically, Yowamushi wa Kokoro means weak-hearted. Now Roy, just like Liko and Dot, did start off as a very weak trainer, but has made incredible progress up until this point. But it seems during this new arc, Roy will still be dealing with that self-doubt and confidence of being able to properly challenge Rayquaza. Then we have Liko returning one of her Pokemon to its Pokeball. This is presumably the shot of her losing to Roy in episode 67 after his Crocolore defeated her Floragato. Her insert here shows her sadness for losing, which also highlights the self-doubt she still feels as a trainer and being able to succeed in battle. That insert of her then moves to the side to transition us to Liko stepping forward and reaching up to the moon. Now get ready because there is a lot of symbolism here. Firstly, Liko herself acting as the transition is very reflective of how Liko used to run away from her fears and problems and would easily give up and not fight back. When Liko steps forward, we see green leaves fly up, which is symbolic of how far she's been able to go on her journey with Pokemon by her side, specifically her Sprigatito, which was her starter Pokemon. This is something her grandma Diana said to her as a kid, that she just needs to take that first step with Pokemon by her side and she'll be fine. Liko then reaches her hand up to the moon as she thinks about her journey and her goals, which is something she's been doing since the very beginning of the series when she takes time to self-reflect. The first instance of this being when she was secretly trained with Sprigatito at night outside of Indigo Academy. Interestingly enough, they made an artistic choice that I absolutely love, as Liko and her surroundings are in black and white, yet her eyes remain a brilliant blue. This is symbolic of how Liko didn't really know what she wanted to do early in the series, nor what kind of trainer she wanted to be, almost like she had no purpose. Then Sprigatito runs by, glowing in green, fully saturated, as she runs up to the Rising Voltaclers with Fuecoco and Quaxly by her side as they evolve into their current second stage evolutions, and as they do so, everyone goes from black and white to full color. Then Roy and Dot stand by Liko's side. This just truly shows how much of an impact all of them have had on Liko throughout the series so far. They've truly changed her and made her a better person and helped her grow. They've essentially added color to her life and made it all the richer and better. This also shows how they're one big family now. They run towards the Rising Voltaclers, and then Liko's pendant transitions us to the next shot. We see Carmine and Kitakami at the Festival of Masks with the Sinistcha next to her as she drops her candied apple. This in turn means we should be traveling to Kitakami soon. We see Briar reading the Scarlet Book by the Crystal Pool atop Oni Mountain in Kitakami, which we know has ties to terrestrialization and Area Zero, and she's of course a teacher at Blueberry Academy in the Unova region. We then see Perrin and her cute Hisuian and Growlithe along with Kleavor. Kleavor has previously been confirmed to be one of Lucius' 6 heroes, and by showing it here, it'll probably be the next Pokemon our main protagonist try to encounter. Both Perrin and Kleavor appear to be in the Timeless Woods in Kitakami, as this is where Perrin's quest takes place in the Teal Mask DLC, and Blood Moon Ursaluna can be found there as well, so it would make sense to find Kleavor there. Then we get a great shot of the explorers and their partner Pokemon going from left to right, with Agate and her Medicham, Onix and his Garganacl, Sango and her Glalie, Spinel and his Umbreon, and then Amicio and his Cerulege in the center. A swirling mist then appears, which is the same mist that appeared when Spinel first used Recurrium on his Umbreon against Amicio's Cerulege. Fittingly enough, this does transition to Gibeon holding and evidently utilizing Recurrium himself, and this shot mirrors Liko holding her pendant in the second opening for Pokemon Horizons. Both characters will eventually utilize the full power of their crystals and their Pokemon. Gibeon, of course, being the leader of the explorers who wants Recurrium for himself, which is tied to Terapagos. I'd also like to point out the slight red coloration in Gibeon's hair. Makes me think he might potentially own a Hisuian Zoroark later in the anime. The glow of the Recurrium then transitions us to a standoff between Liko, Dot, and Roy against Gibeon's 50% shiny Zygarde. Wow! It was incredible when his shiny Zygarde was first revealed because it was revealed in its 10% form. So this means that at some point, Gibeon will unleash its 50% form against our heroes. And now I'd like to take a moment to shout out my friends Pokefurlex and Rotoscare on Twitter, as they both pointed out that the new Pokemon anime opening is giving massive XYZ vibes, as the opening to XYZ, just like this one, featured our main protagonist going up against the Zygarde. This is a fire comparison and I'm here for it. Then Liko holds a Pokeball, which she throws up to reveal Terapagos in its Terrasta form. We first saw this form revealed in episode 33 when it defended our heroes from Rayquaza's Draco Meteor attack. That could potentially mean that Liko will one day officially catch Terapagos rather than just travel with it. We then see Kilowattrel and Captain Pikachu flying into battle alongside Charizard and Crocolore. Ticketic and Hatcham are both shown using Brutal Swing, Charizard and Crocolore both use Flamethrower, Quaxwell uses Liquidation, and Florigato attacks using Magical Leaf. Then we see the coolest sequence of the entire opening. We see Shiny Zygarde go up against Shiny Rayquaza. Rayquaza charges in using Dragon Ascent, which we first saw it use in episode 45 against Freeze Charizard and Amicio's Cerulege. I speculated before that this could lead to the reveal of Shiny Mega Rayquaza in the anime, since Dragon Ascent is the move Rayquaza needs to know in order to Mega Evolve. I also speculated that we would indeed see a battle between Rayquaza and Zygarde later on in the series, and it looks like I was right. Rayquaza and Zygarde collide head-on and create a massive explosion. Then we get a shot of stellar form Terapagos as it uses Terra Starstorm and fires a beam of light into the sky. Rayquaza, Arboliva, Galarian Moltres, and Lapras then follow this beam of light into the sky and become one bright star. Then we get a nice panning shot of all the Rising Volt tacklers aboard the Brave Asagi, which means it seems the repairs are finally finished. Then Fried mysteriously walks off into this white light. Is he entering one of those flashbacks provided by Terapagos that we've seen before? Maybe this is an event taking place at Area 0? I'm really curious as to where he's going in this shot. This next thought I have is hugely speculation, but maybe Rakua is a realm inside of Area 0 that can only be accessed in certain ways. Kinda like how the Quantum Realm in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a realm adjacent to the mainline Earth. The door to Rakua begins to close and maybe Fried decides to stay behind instead with Lucius. Just an idea, but I said that because it looks very similar to Atem's final shot in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters as Atem enters the afterlife. We then see Amicio and Cerulege with their backs to Spinel and Umbreon, since Amicio has recently been kicked out of the Explorers by his own grandfather Gibeon. I'm interested to see the path Amicio embarks on, as he's shaping up to be the Pokemon anime's version of Zuko. We then get quite a peculiar shot that raises a lot of questions, which is this shot of Lucius walking alongside Gibeon and this mysterious girl who's holding Terapagos. It's possible that Diana, Liko's grandmother, could be the one traveling with them, but I doubt it. Diana has only implied that she might know a little about Lucius, but we definitely know she has connections to the Explorers. And now it's confirmed that Lucius and Gibeon did in fact work together on their expeditions to Rakua. But then again, she could be a lady we haven't seen before, as she has very much different hair than Diana. Then the Brave Asagi heads to what looks like Area 0, and I 100% believe it is. Between the cliff sides, the rainbows, the waterfalls, this is giving Area 0 vibes, and I'm sure that's where they're headed. Then the Rising Volt tacklers all do their signature handshake as we pan up to the sun and sky, and we end on a shot of a lovely group photo. Pokemon Horizons is seriously cooking right now, and I can't wait for the upcoming episodes. This arc is gonna be amazing. But which hidden details were your favorites, and what are you most excited to see coming up in Pokemon Horizons? Let me know down below and subscribe for more Pokemon anime content like this. Thanks for watching, and special thanks to our channel members for their extra support. Until next time, train hard, and I'll catch you guys later.